Hello and welcome everybody to a special Wednesday live crypto event. Should you sell your Bitcoin? I'm Steve Straz, Director of Research here at All Star Charts, joined by my esteemed co-host, colleague, and friend, Louis Sykes, our Director of Crypto Research. How are you today, Louis?
I am fantastic, and I'm just so pumped to get into the charts. There's so much happening in the market right now. Things are just happening every single day. I look at the market and I look at Bitcoin, and this thing is just down every single day that I just keep looking at it. Down
Yeah,
$10,000 over the last 3 days.
right.
What the hell is happening? I'm just so ready to talk about this.
So some volatility, listen, things were dead for a while, right? We've been talking about like the volatility squeeze indicators, whether Bollinger Band width, whatever. Things have been really tight, no action. So we've been waiting for some fireworks, and now it's come. It's come in the form of some downside momentum, and I think everything's okay here. People get the jitters, right? When you get some selling pressure like this, especially out of nowhere, out of what's really been a pretty range-bound market. So I think there are things to talk about. I think sentiment is shifting. Trends are shifting. We're getting some tactical damage to these charts. People want to know what to do with their money. That's why we're here today. So let's just take it from the top, right? With the chart of Bitcoin. Louis writes about this stuff every day. He's as in the weeds in the crypto asset class and with Bitcoin as anybody out there. And we've been watching this topping formation in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has looked far better than its peers, right? It's become a market where it's Bitcoin and everything else, really, at this point. Lost Ethereum a long time ago. I'd say we lost Solana Q4 of last year. Binance has been a big, sloppy, nasty mess if you zoom out on that massive distribution pattern. And then it got to the point where if you were to make a bullish and a bearish list for crypto, just based on the price action, Bitcoin was left all by itself on the bull list. And then this, right? A big catch down move, a couple big red candles. Bitcoin, at least for now, completing this tactical top. Could it repair it? Could it bounce back? Could we get back in the box? And maybe, this turns into some sort of continuation pattern? Sure. But for now, it's not. For now, this is a valid top. And the problem for me is all of the intermarket evidence, right, that just continues to stack up. It's those lists. The bearish list of data points has gotten way too long relative to the bullish list. Solana breaking down from a top. I think it's ugly here. 180 was the tactical top level for me. 120 is like the crypto bull market over level for me. I don't think you want to lose your leaders. Losing Solana to me for crypto would be like losing Nvidia. Say Nvidia comes out, Louis, this afternoon, reports a nasty, earnings report, breaks down from its range. I'm asking myself tomorrow morning, is that the end of the bull market for stocks? I think if you lose Solana below 120, you got to start asking that question about crypto. When you zoom out, it doesn't even look better, right? Nasty failed breakout. We eclipsed the prior cycle highs by a couple bucks, blasted lower, now into a tactical top that could turn into a primary top. Coinbase breaking down from a tactical top. These fall lows, the VWAPs from the fall lows have been really good. You see it here in this chart, right? Buyers kept stepping in and defending the VWAP from this September low. That has given way, right? This is now a short-term top. You don't want to see the number one, or the industry leader in terms of crypto brokerage platform completing a top. Speaking of industry leaders, I would say Marathon has been around as long as any of the Bitcoin miners. This is considered an industry leader, one of the bigger ones. Massive top, right? Multi-year top. So we're losing the Bitcoin stocks. We're losing the crypto stocks. Another one of my favorite vehicles this whole bull market has been Galaxy Digital. I like to think of this as the hedge fund or financial institution asset manager of choice, right, for crypto, breaking down from a tactical top. So you just see this over and over and over and over again. Then you look back to a chart of Bitcoin and you say that's probably a top two. Now we're seeing that it is. I think you have to be out over the short term and then looking for some sort of tradable bottom. If you look at the altcoins, the strongest altcoins, Louis, whether it's HBAR, Ripple's holding up. Ripple's the only one. But HBAR, Algo, Cardano, some of these, altcoins that just experienced massive rallies off of their November lows last year, back below the election VWAPs, completing tops. So the last one, last but not least, the way that I'm expressing this bearishness is by shorting MicroStrategy. I think this could be a real disaster. I think MicroStrategy becomes the story of the next crypto bear market. I don't know if that's now. But I think this is probably the best vehicle on the short side in the same way that it was the best vehicle on the long side. So those are my thoughts. It's just based on the price action. Too many tops in crypto stocks. I think Bitcoin follows. What you got? You like that or no? Too much?
Steve, I want to take your mind back to December 2022. Now, if you can
Mm,
recall, the world was falling apart. FTX
yeah.
just blew up,
Yeah.
and that was almost FTX was the poster child. Sam Bankman-Fried was the poster child of crypto, and
Yep.
his empire had just collapsed. But what was happening? Bitcoin just completed this failed breakdown pattern,
Yep.
and it was beginning to rip higher. A lot of these altcoins had already started bottoming. The world was collapsing, the news was terrible, but the market was already shifting in a way that was really bullish. So that really caught our attention back then.
Yeah.
The opposite is happening now.
I agree.
We are having so much positive news. The SEC has changed Coinbase from US government enemy number one to now they're the biggest friends. And what's
Yeah.
happening? On that news, Coinbase is down 10%. 10%. Now, you were saying earlier this morning, Steve, if that news had happened a few months ago or in the context of this bull market, Coinbase would be gapping up overnight if there was an announcement anywhere close to that.
Yep.
But this
10%.
happens now and it's down
Yeah.
10%.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's not just that. The new administration, the strategic reserve, all of these really positive headlines. And what's happening? Bitcoin's completing a top. That to
And
me screams of a topping pattern.
Louis, that's really what did it for me last week. I was looking at Coinbase and it was teetering, right? It was right here, sitting on the VWAP when that news came out. And I was listening to Brian Armstrong's interviews. He was doing like, his cable news rounds. Sounded great. Everything he was saying. I was so bullish that morning at like 8:30. I'm like, this is awesome. Like Coinbase for the win. And then I get to my desk and this is the candle. That's what they did to it on that news. This is the best news this company's reported in years. Like you said, from public enemy or SEC enemy number one to now, probably going to help craft the legislation for crypto in America. He's got the best seat in the White House for crypto, the CEO of Coinbase, and they killed it on that news. And then what happens? We come into this week, and that's still fresh in my mind. I'm like, this is strange. Like, what a change in character, right? In terms of the reaction to news. And then I hear Michael Saylor has a private meeting with the SEC on Monday. I'm like, oh, that's Super Bowl. That's got to be the one. That's going to set it off, right? We're going to be up 15% here. And then what do? I pull up the MicroStrategy chart on Monday after Saylor's meeting with the SEC. It's completing a top on this news. It's just not, look, as a risk manager, that's not the kind of stuff that I want to be hanging out with long exposure in, right? That it smells bad right now for crypto. I hate the sentiment. I really do. And you're right. What a change.
Yeah, what a change. And it's not only that, Steve, because sure, you've got all these really positive headlines and the market's breaking down, which is it's certainly not a good look at all. But then when you step away from crypto and you just look at what's happening in the macro landscape, the dollar's breaking down, but yet crypto is completing a top. Coming into this week, was that really on my bingo card? No, it absolutely wasn't. And so you're seeing a lot of these correlations where you're seeing a bit of selling in growth
Yeah.
stocks, but albeit on balance, you are seeing still some risk appetite out there. You're still seeing international stocks perform relatively well. But then when you see that in the face of crypto getting absolutely slammed, if you removed all the crypto charts from my life and you just said, go look at all the thousands of charts that I look at every single week, and then from there, guess where crypto's trading. I'd probably say, well, it's probably messy. It's probably in a sideways range, probably not breaking higher, but it's probably not breaking down. But it's absolutely just getting crushed. The average altcoin is down 60%, while international stocks, European financials, China is still squeezing higher. The
Yeah.
dollar is breaking down. Is crypto breaking? Is this correlation breaking? I mean, what's happening here, Steve?
No, we were just talking about it on one of our meetings. This is not the bet any of us would have made, right? If you were to lay out this intermarket backdrop or this environment that you're describing where risk assets are working all over the globe, um, I would tell you, no way crypto's breaking down, right? But we don't get paid based on what should happen. We get paid based on what's happening. And we have to trade the charts that are in front of us. Right now, these are tops. And we got to treat them as valid tops as long as they look like valid tops. So I think next steps are, Louis, how do we protect ourselves? What do we look for a tradable low? Like what are you looking for moving forward, navigating through this, I would say increasingly dicey asset class?
But before I answer that, I just want to answer that with what's happening in the futures market and why
Yeah.
that question you've asked is just so important, right? Because we come into crypto and we just see these assets that are just trading up and they're just really rallying, really moving higher, which they have been over the last few years. And we come into this space with money balls in our eyes, but sometimes a little bit of patience is required in order to actually find those really high conviction trades. So I want to have a look at some of the liquidation data that I'm seeing. And
Yep.
so liquidations are essentially the crypto nomenclature, the crypto jargon for margin calls, right? When you see a spike in this black line, what that's essentially meaning is that the worst traders on the planet are being taken behind the barn in droves. And so they are just getting
Yeah.
kicked and they're getting kicked and kicked and they are just suffering. And so those big spikes in liquidations
Wow.
means that a lot of people are just getting margin called like crazy. The exchanges are actually just closing their positions because they just don't really know how to manage risk. And so these are the worst traders on the planet. And we've just seen the largest amount of liquidations in Bitcoin this entire bull market as it's broken down. So you can clearly see that people have been quite stubbornly bullish. And now the market is punishing that. So coming back to what you're saying there, the news flow is positive, positioning has been really positive as well, but the market is just directly punishing that now. And so it's so important. And in a tape like this, where Bitcoin is breaking down, the next morning it could be down another 10% because from oversold conditions, the market can become even more oversold. And so these liquidations are just a testament to why managing risk in this tape is just so important.
And this is crazy. So this is like yesterday's data. No, what I'm looking at here.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yesterday's
the
data.
highest level of liquidations in then multiple years, right?
Hmm.
Several years yesterday. And just notice
Indeed.
how, these big liquidation events tend to line up with viable dips, right? I think the question is, how does the reaction leg look, right? Like how much progress is made or damage is undone on a bounce or on a rebound rally.
Hmm. Yep, and it just plays into what we've been talking about, right? These previous buyable dip opportunities where you get that spike in liquidations, you get that buy the dip behavior, that's occurred in an environment that's different to what we're in right now. Those times, the market wasn't completing topping patterns on good news. That just wasn't happening. Those correlations with legacy and macro markets, that just wasn't happening.
Right.
And so it comes back to this really important idea, and this is going to sound like a cliche, but it's true that price is the only price is the only thing that pays us. And so by looking at these spikes and liquidations, these tend to occur near bottoms.
Wow.
Now, there's a caveat there, right? We want to only look to be potentially moving back in the favor of bullish data points if Bitcoin is back above 90,000. Because if it's below 90,000, then it doesn't really matter, right? Because the trend has shifted down, it's
Yep.
just broken down, completed a topping pattern. And so I think it wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of a scoop and score, a little bit of a failed breakdown where we got that move below 90,000 and then we slingshot back above 90,000 back into the range. I think if we did get that, I think that'll be really bullish. But until we do, I think a little bit of patience is required because you don't want to be one of these people in this black line, right? That'd
Yep.
suck. That's not fun for anyone.
Dude, I like what you're saying, right? We don't know if this damage is repaired tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Maybe it's 3 years from now, right? Next cycle, right? But this is a gotta see it situation at this point, right? So like, okay, what gets us back in? Well, here's what Louis is saying. What gets us back in is this bearish resolution coming undone, right? And scooping higher, getting back into the box, and then eventually up to and through the upper bounds of this box and a new leg higher, right? What gets us bullish again? Solana undoing this nasty top, getting back above this huge VWAP that's been in place since August, right? What gets us extra less bearish in the future? Solana finally completing this breakout above the prior cycle highs. Why isn't that happening, right? You look at the best stocks, US equities, they're taking out these prior cycle highs, hitting one, two, three price targets next after it, right? You got to see that from the leaders in crypto too. What turns us less bearish? What gets us back in? Coinbase undoing this top. I think it's as simple as that. That's the next step, right? Then we'll see what comes after that. Do we get a new leg higher? Do these all go on to make new cycle highs? I would think so, but let's undo these bearish formations first. Is that it?
Nothing I can add to that. That is perfect. That's you need to see repeat that this damage get repaired. Because unless it does, these
Yeah.
things are just breaking down, new lows, and the trend is shifting lower. I don't want to be involved in that, Steve. I like a simple life. I like to buy things that are in uptrends. It's as simple as that.
No, neither of us would sit here and be shocked next week, the following week, if these ended up being failed tops, right?
Yeah,
We'll know what to
absolutely.
do. We'll know what to do when it happens. In the meantime, guys, thank you. When we get some big market action or some volatility or some big momentum coming into asset classes, like that's when we're making moves in our portfolio. That's when we're moving stuff around, right? Making decisions. So it's important to come on and talk about it. So I'm glad that we did this today. Louis, you write about crypto every morning. You have a free daily note. You got a paid product too. You're a head crypto analyst. You've been doing this for 5 years now. Where can people find your note? Maybe send them to the website. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can go onto the website and just go under free research and have a look at All-Star Charts crypto. From there, I'm talking about crypto every single day, guys. I'm in the weeds just looking at all the charts, what are the most important developments, and then most importantly, how to make sense of all of that, right? Because there's so much data, so much, I like to use the word noise. It's almost like a drinking game around here. Every time I say the word noise, take a swig. And so
Yeah.
there's just so much happening in crypto, and it can be really intimidating that even after 5 years in this game, I'm still learning so much every single day when I get to my desk. There's a new wallet, a new platform, a new protocol. And so it can be really intimidating. So I like to just break that down, understand what the market signals are, and then most importantly, just how we're viewing the asset class and how we're profiting from these trends. And so I publish a free note every single day, so you can go to the website and you can get access to that.
He's the best in the business when it comes to crypto, folks. Go sign up for Louis' Daily Note. If you want to hear or read my bear porn from the other day about why I'm selling my Coinbase and turning a little bit, short-term cautious or even bearish here on cryptos, you can get that on the Straza letter section of our website on Stock Market TV. And that's it. I mean, we love our cryptos. We're here every morning talking about stocks and cryptos on the morning show. So join us at 8:30 Eastern Time. Louis, any closing thoughts?
Crypto never closes, baby. So I need to go manage the trades right now, and we'll go make some money.
All right, man. This was fun. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. Happy hump day.